Nathan Bubes. He left LeBron and the Lakers so that he could come to Provo and help BYU basketball get things right.
He's Kyrie with a better attitude.
Yes. Nathan, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Okay, for those that aren't aware of what the coordinator of strategy and analytics does, give us a brief description of what you do on a day-to-day basis for BYU Hoops.
Yeah, so first and foremost, a lot of it's kind of just video. So during the season, it'll be a lot of scouting, opponent scouting, and self-scouting. So getting ourselves better. And right now, it's a lot of player development. We're in summer workouts. So just how can our guys get better through film? Our coaches sit down and watch film with them. So it's kind of just a collection of different tasks, but kind of just any of the video stats, organization of kind of like a lot of our thoughts into the best and most efficient way for our coaches, players to operate.
What was enticing about taking this job, a place where you had little to no connection, but wanted an opportunity to be here?
Yeah, was just really excited about kind of the first year coach. You know, Coach Pope has been awesome, and just like the excitement of that. And then just like a place that's really high level. Like we operate at an enormous like level compared to our peers and everybody else. Like this is as high major as it comes from a facility standpoint, from like how we spend and how we want to succeed, you know, long term. Like this is, you know, we've got goals that are the same as everybody else in the nation.
You were at Boston College. Did you go to Boston College?
Went to Boston College,
gotcha.
Yep, and then was a graduate assistant there for 2 years. So spent six years there.
Gotcha. How does it compare to a program like that was, I want to say, in the Big East back in the day?
Yeah, they were
ACC
Big East
now,
and then
right?
into the ACC, and so just like being in that conference, it's a high level feel because of like you're playing at Duke, at Carolina. They come to your place, so. It's also high major. It's just kind of different. Like, you know, in our conference, it's a little different, but we stand out among our peers in our conference.
How did you find out about this job?
Yeah, kind of a connection from a Boston College assistant coach that I worked for, one of my mentors, Bill Wazinski. Him and Coach Burgess were friendly with each other, and then so the two of them were kind of talking, and then I guess name was brought up and started talking to Coach Burgess, started talking to Coach Pope, Coach Robinson, Coach Flieger, and just kind of went from there and kind of really liked it. Just
How does Provo,
feel.
Utah compare to Boston?
It's a little different. Right now, the summers are a little bit better. It's not as humid. Like you can walk outside and without sweating immediately, which has been kind of nice. It's just kind of, it's just kind of getting used to small towns. You got every chain here, which is great, you know. So I've enjoyed the Jimmy Johnses each night.
Very nice. It's freaky fast.
Yeah,
it's awesome. Okay, so how is traditionally the video coordinator did certain things, right?
Yeah.
But you're the director of analytics and strategy. So how does that vary, or how is that different than just the video coordinator?
I think it's a pretty similar role. I think video coordinators across the nation and at NBA teams at all levels are undervalued because of kind of just their role and just kind of like the coaches' minds are sometimes all over the place because they have so much to do, like between communicating with the players, coaching on the floor, recruiting, kind of just the gamut. So just kind of that role kind of just helps them organize all their thoughts from a computer standpoint. So whether it's video stats. So where my role may differ in a little bit is just I think I'm fortunate enough to have a little bit more say, you know, just kind of in helping with the scouting and the process and what our offense is going to look like, what our defense is going to look like. So, and then also from an analytics standpoint, like these stats are important and this is why, and then kind of explaining why the stats maybe that they've used in the past, why those may not be as important. So just kind of feeling that out.
Let's go there. So what traditional stats don't matter versus which ones matter?
Yeah, I think one of the big ones is just kind of general field goal percent and field goal shooting. Like you see it broken up between field goals and then 3-point shots. So just kind of the simple math to just subtract the threes out of the total field goals and get the twos and just separate those two. And it's not on your traditional box score, 2-point field goals. But I think it's just it's indicative because especially with where the game's going, shots at the basket are basically twos. So that percent should be pretty high. So there's
how high should it be?
It should be in like the 60s,
okay.
60 to 70 range at the basket. Now mid-range gets mixed in, so you want to look at like teams that are shooting like really high like we want to be shooting really high twos percentage because that means we're taking good twos and we're making our good twos. So just kind of separating that one is a simple one that I think it gets lost on people. And Ken Pom is kind of a leader, has led that charge for years.
Oh, yeah. We know Ken Pom. He's a friend of the show.
There you go.
Salt Lake City guy.
Yeah, he's the best.
He's a friend of the show. Nathan Bubes, BYU basketball coordinator of strategy and analytics with us on BYU Sports Nation. You were most recently working in the NBA with the Lakers.
Yep.
What did you learn there that you didn't know before you got there that you bring to BYU that's going to make the Cougars program unique?
Yeah. What's different about the NBA is that you kind of you have such a bigger staff, so everybody's jobs are so specific. So you're able to really hone in on exactly what you do. Like, instead of having a director of ops that kind of touches on everything, you literally just have a person that coordinates the food, and you have a person that coordinates the travel. Like, each specific role, and so then you're able to do it in a grander and bigger fashion. But at the same time, it's all basketball. Like, we're doing the same things, like the same drills that you see in high school, they do at the NBA. The same stats we look at, they look at. Like, it's kind of that combination of like, and then kind of seeing how to manage a large staff too, like what goes into that, because managing a lot of people is hard, and you don't really realize that until you see it, when you have a staff of 15 coaches or something.
What stats did LeBron look at primarily?
I don't know exactly what stats he would look at. He was always really interested in everything, though. He's unbelievably smart. So whether asking questions about what this scout would look like from a coach, or how we should play this, and percentages of which way people drive and stuff, he's always cutting edge.
Does anybody in the NBA ignore this ideology, or has everyone embraced it? Because like you said, in 2019, we just have more information. It's not like in baseball. It's not just batting average. It's like, oh my gosh, we have so many things available now.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's still really important. While the stats are vital and everything, it's really important to have context with it. So it's just another data point. But people got to understand that data points are also like how coaches feel. Like, I've done this in the past and it has worked. So like, that matters. And so from our job is to just kind of, here's the data, and then the coach to kind of look at it all and say, hey, that doesn't work because XYZ, I just know that these guys don't like playing together. I know you say that it's better, but it just doesn't work because
the numbers show us.
Because when we bring in our bench or something, the example is like plus minus people look at. But in reality, if you're a bench guy and you have a really good or bad plus minus, you might be playing against starters, or you might be playing against their even worse bench. So you kind of have to look at that and how they stagger minutes. And so it's just kind of constantly taking content. So I think to NBA teams, kind of, there's a spectrum of like how much context they take in. I think it's the best way to.
Okay, so when Brad Pitt comes in to play Mark Pope, is Jonah Hill going to play your role in this version of BYU basketball?
I hope so. That'd be great.
Now, Nick Robinson mentioned that you're good at identifying current players on the roster and comparing them to NBA guys. So let's go through a few of BYU's marquee players and
absolutely.
who they compare to, who they relate to in the NBA. Let's start with the guy that wasn't supposed to be here and then came back, Yoli Childs.
Yeah, I think one of the first ones is Draymond Green. That kind of comes to mind, and that's kind of how he's going to try and step up his game this year, kind of the way he handles in transition and just kind of the effort and energy that he plays with, I think is something that he can watch and learn from. And then another one that's been really like kind of a Jay Crowder kind of type with this spacing of the floor, as Yoli kind of spaces the floor more and starts shooting it and spacing the way Utah, the Jazz space it really well. And then another one is kind of Al Horford because of his mid-range abilities. Al Horford's a great mid-range shooter, and Yoli is also.
What about Jake Toolson?
Jake, one of my favorite comps has been in the staffs has been Bradley Beal, kind of like the way he comes off screens.
Yep.
And kind of watching. A lot of these are kind of watching them to be like them because they have the skill set to do that.
Sure.
And so for him, I think that he can be that elite shooter coming off screens and shooting off the dribble too. Jake's also a really good off the dribble shooter.
A 180 guy.
Oh,
yes, Jake. He's unique, right?
Yeah, he's really, really impressive.
Okay, what about the Red Mamba, TJ Haas?
That's what we call him.
Yeah, I mean, TJ's ability to pass kind of and see the floor is kind of Rondo-esque, but he plays quicker. So like it's like Rubio kind of, but if Rubio had a shot too, like not a shot at Rubio. He's an unbelievable player, but and he does shoot it better, but he kind of has a lot of everything, TJ. So kind of those two with his ability to kind of see the floor, and then kind of a CJ McCollum-esque with the shooting with that, and kind of I'm not sure he's quite, Lillard kind of is ball dominant. I think TJ can not have the ball always in his hands like CJ. So
gotcha. Gavin Baxter.
Yeah, Gavin's athleticism is off the charts. So I think any of those guys, he's maybe not the same height, but like a Clint Capella type role is where something he can watch and learn from. But I also think he can also start to kind of stretch the floor and shoot it a little bit too. So kind of doing that also, but kind of the Clint Capella, Rudy Gobert type of inside presence defensively and offensively where, if you have tag off of him, and he rolls to the basket untouched, probably gonna be 2 points.
All right, let's do one more.
Okay.
Connor Harding.
Probably kind of slashing, scoring type, like a Gordon Hayward almost, like
Jazz Gordon Hayward, or
yeah, the best version of Gordon Hayward, which is coming.
Sensitive around these parts.
Yeah. So, kind of that type, kind of a do-it-all. Andre Iguodala is another one that kind of comes to mind. Like, just whatever you need. Like, you need a defensive stop. Like, we're going to Andre Iguodala. And that's like, and Gordon Hayward, when he is a very good defender too, when he's at his peak. And so I think that kind of type, but then just kind of like, he can score, he can shoot, he can do everything. So, those are kind of two of the ones that come to mind.
This has been fascinating.
Yeah.
Really entertaining conversation. You go by Nathan or Nate.
Either one.
Whichever you prefer. Nate or Nathan Bubes.
It's already Nate Austin. So
yeah.
Maybe Nathan just for separate.
Yeah.
Do you have a nickname you want us to call you?
We'll just go with Nate. We'll just go with Nate. A lot of nicknames.
I love it, man. Hey, great stuff.
Yeah.
We would love for you to sign our
awesome.
We've
never asked a video coordinator to do this.
I'm honored.
This is
I'm
a big
more
deal
than honored.
Do
Let's
it.
see if I can step down right here.
All right.
Yeah. Awesome.
Nathan Bubes with us on BYU Sports
Very
Nation.
interesting.